Good morning, Rebels, and welcome back to my life, and welcome to my first book review in a long time. Unfortunately, this is not the return of 5-minute books. Those videos just took me too long to produce. I don't have the time right now. This is like 4-minute books with jump cuts. It's not as good, I'm sorry. Last week I read Under the Empyrean Sky by author Chuck Wendig. It gave me happy pants. I made a little unboxing video for it, and if you missed that on my Twitter, here it is. Unboxing Under the Empyrean Sky. Look at it, it's so pretty. Oh, it's a hardcover with a dust jacket. I haven't bought one in so long. Under the Empyrean Sky, Chuck Wendig.
Go away, box. Nobody likes you.
Under the Empyrean Sky is a dystopian science fiction novel. It's also placed in the young adult category, but there was certain stuff in there that I was like, whoa. The story takes place in a bleak American future where the world is divided into two groups. The Heartlanders, who live on the ground and work the land, and the Empyrean, who travel around in these floating cities in the sky. As with any good dystopian scenario, you've got the oppressed people and then the oppressors. Two guesses as to who's who. A quick note up front about the only thing that threw me out of this book. In this future, America has been overgrown by this mutant corn that's been genetically spliced with Venus flytraps and some other nasty plants. The corn is kind of alive. It will move and eat anything it comes into contact with, albeit slowly. But if you fall asleep in a cornfield, you might not wake up. The Heartlanders control the corn with the use of really nasty herbicides, and the result is that a lot of them are very sick. Tons of them have cancer. So if you're heavily into the anti-GMO culture, you'll see this as a pretty obvious dig at Monsanto. Although if you're like really heavily into the anti-GMO culture, just make sure that you understand what GMO actually means. If you do and you're still angry, okay. But I was okay with the dig. It didn't really bother me. And then the main villain showed up, and her name was literally Agrisanto, as in the agricultural company Monsanto. I literally LOL'd, so I guess I LLOL. But that tiny little kitschy detail didn't detract from an excellent book. This book is written in third-person present tense. I don't remember ever reading a book that was written that way. If you're not too familiar with the grammars, that means it's written with sentences like, Chuck rolls his die, it's a nat 20, the Minotaur's balls catch on fire and it falls out the window. The action is happening now, but you're not in the head of the person it's happening to. A lot of dystopian young adult sci-fi is written in first-person present tense, which honestly kind of annoys me, especially when I don't like the character. Empyrean Sky had a nice sense of immediacy, but didn't force me to wear a skin that didn't fit. I'd heard a lot about the book's author, Chuck Wendig, ever since his first appearance on the Self-Publishing Podcast, shortly after my second appearance on the Self-Publishing Podcast, but hey, who's counting? Also, let's not draw comparisons, because Chuck Wendig is a very successful hybrid author, and I, still have a Patreon page, right here, by the way. So from talk around the web and after following his blog, I got the idea of Chuck as a take-no-crap, roughneck kind of guy who says what's on his mind and don't take nothing from nobody. That is pretty much the exact attitude of this book, and if the rest of his are like that, I will very much enjoy the Wendig catalog. The Wendalogue, if you will. Now that could be construed as something else. Young adult love triangles are super dicey. Twilight was vomitous. Hunger Games was nuanced and complex. Divergent was... But Empyrean Sky pulled it off for me, and I found myself simultaneously rooting for the hero and his girl, and realizing that they very well might not end up together, and there's nothing you can do about it because that's just the way that things are. They don't call it a dystopia for nothing. If you're looking for a first Chuck Wendig book to read, I heartily recommend Under the Empyrean Sky. I obviously bought the hardcover edition, but this book has Kindle Matchbook, which means that if you buy a physical copy through Amazon, you can also get the Kindle ebook for just 99 cents more, which as you can see, I did. If you want to buy that book through an affiliate link that tosses me a little cash for your purchase without costing the author anything, find that link in the description down below. Thank you for watching, Rebels. I will see you next time.